general English as well. Okay. All right. So Cass says it's because the questions in part 3 will be connected to the part 2 cue card. Arda says because there will be similar topics. Pachu says to create cohesion and fluency. And Tatiana says to use examples from part 2. Absolutely. So we want to do that. Okay. We want to do that. All right. Okay, everyone, so let's get into our IELTS speaking part 3 questions. We'll do one together, and then I'm going to reach out to our viewers, okay? All right, here we go. So IELTS speaking part 3. Your examiner will say, okay, that is the end of speaking part 2. Now we will continue with speaking part 3. For this part, I will ask you some questions related to the topic of part 2. Let's discuss world sports. Okay. And then they'll start off. They'll say, in your opinion, what are some of the most popular team sports in the world and why? So give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. In your opinion. It's your opinion, okay? It doesn't have to be the truth. What are some of the most popular team sports in the world and why? Give me a nice full sentence answer. Think about answer, explanation, example. The question also includes why, right? So what and why are in there. I'm going to answer this question while you're thinking about it, okay? And then we'll see if you come up with some similar ideas. So all right. So there we go. That's my answer. Arda seems to have a similar answer. Okay, so speak and repeat, everybody. So this is speaking. So make sure that you speak and repeat. So again, question, in your opinion, what are some of the most popular team sports in the world and why? I believe that the most favored sports around the world is football and hockey, as these are team sports and they are very exciting to watch. In fact, the World Cup of football was watched by over 1 billion people when it was held. Okay, and the question does ask for team sports, so make sure that you're giving team sports is your answer. Arda says, let me just grab this. So this is Arda's response. I think football and basketball are the most famous team sports in the world because these two team sports are played in most of the countries and they have millions of fans. It's impossible to find someone who doesn't know these team sports. Very nice answer, Arda. I like it. Okay. I went with hockey. You went with basketball as the second one. I'm glad that you mentioned two. Okay. Because the question does ask for plural team sports. All right, let me do a couple of corrections here. So I think football and basketball are the most famous team sports in the world because these two team sports are played in most countries and they have millions of fans. It's impossible to find someone who doesn't know these team sports. Very good. All right. Let's see. So, Paulo Says, I like how the second sport, it's always a different one. So Paulo says, I think football and volleyball are the most popular team sports on earth. They can be played in a lot of spaces, do not need a lot of equipment, making it popular among non-athletes. Beautiful answer, Paulo. Okay. All right. Nice. And include that some example as well, Paulo, if you can. Okay. All right. Good answers, students. I like it. So far, so good. Nicely done. Okay, so now I'm going to actually audio voice call people for these questions so we can practice these questions with some real sound and real feedback. Okay, so I'm putting on my headset. If you've got a headset, I recommend doing the same. We've gotten a lot of great answers for these. So I'm going to take some volunteers for speaking part 3. To volunteer, follow these steps. Okay. First, register a free or paid account at aehelp.com. It's up to you. And then log into your My Student account. After you do that, click on Student Partner Speaking. Okay, you're going to have to accept the terms. Make sure to enable your microphone. All right. Okay. And then message me in the chat, Master, blue envelope, I want to volunteer. And then I will reach out to different students at different times and practice some questions with you. Let me show you how to do this. Okay, so go to the website. All right, here it is. This is the academic one here, and you have to click on either this red button or this green button to create your account. Okay. Then you log into your My Student account. You can see that My Student account up there above my head. Okay, so My Student account. Then in your My Student account, you're going to see this Student Partner Speaking. You click on that, you accept the terms, and boom, you are in the game. So you have people in the chat. We have Anirban, Arda, Kelvin, Serkan, Wally, Sangam, Trin, Tatiana. So we've got lots of people in here already, and it looks like we've got lots of volunteers already. When you volunteer, I'll see this little kind of yellow one here. I'll reach out to Arsalan right now and see if Arsalan is ready to volunteer for a question. And so there's Arsalan. So Arsalan says, hello, I want to volunteer. Okay. All right, Arsalan, are you ready? And then I can message you back and then we can connect. Now make sure that you connect your microphone and your speaker and allow the browser to use it. Okay. All right, here we go, Arsalan. Let me find you again. There we go. All right.
Hello?
So, I have to check my audio settings here. Hi, Arsalan.
Hello?
Okay, I had to adjust my audio there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. How are you doing?
Fine. Yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. Remember, Arsalan, full sentences, nice full sentences, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a question. Give me a nice full sentence answer, and then I'll give you some feedback and a score estimate. Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right. So here we go with speaking part 3. Let's discuss world sports. What are some of the biggest sporting events in the world, and where are they held?
Well, I think the biggest, one of the biggest events in the world is World Cup. That is in football. I mean, yeah, and Uh, it pro it is held in almost in every country in the world, and so fans could get to every point of the world and um, support their teams.
Okay, I was just about to interrupt you, but you stopped, which is good. Okay. All right, so that would be considered about a band 5.5, Arsalan, for that answer. Okay, and I'll tell you why. So your fluency, I think, would be scored at a band 5. Your coherence would be scored at about a band 6. Your lexical resource would be about a band 6. Grammatical range and accuracy would be about a band 5. Okay, and your pronunciation would be about a band 7, 7.5, 8. Easily, so I can understand what you're saying. That's not a pronunciation is not an issue. You have to focus on giving clearer, faster answers. Okay, that's what you
Yes.
really have to target. So instead of biggest, you can say major. That would be a good synonym. So and it's sporting events. So some of the major sporting events globally are World Cup football and the Olympics. Okay, these events are held in different major cities around the world every 4 years, right? So both the World Cup and the Olympics, it's every 4 years. Around the world, every 4 years, and they are watched internationally. The next Olympics, do you know where they will be held?
I forgot.
They will be held in Beijing. It's very controversial, right? There's a lot of controversy around it, so it's been in the news quite a bit. So the next Olympics will be held in Beijing, China, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't been really watching the news. I know they're in China, but I can't remember if it's Beijing, but I think it is. I think it's going to be Beijing for the Winter Olympics, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so but it doesn't have to be accurate. Okay, so even if you make a mistake and you say the next Olympics will be held in London, the examiner might smile, but they're not going to take points if you can't remember where they will be held, or say something different. It's just good that you're using an example. So try to be a little bit more predictive with your thoughts when you're giving the answer, and really pay attention to the plural, right? So sporting events, not just one sporting event. World Cup football is one sporting event. You want to think about at least two. So if you don't think of Olympics, then think about maybe the World Cricket Championships or baseball, some other major event, okay?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to ask the question, read the answer, and then I want you to just repeat me for some practice. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So what are some of the biggest sporting events in the world, and where are they held? Some of the major sporting events globally are World Cup football and the Olympics. These events are held in different major cities around the world every 4 years, and they are watched internationally. The next Olympics, if I'm not mistaken, will be held in Beijing, China. What are some of the biggest sporting events in the world, and where are they held?
Some of the major sporting events globally are World Cup football and the Olympics. These events are held in different major cities around the world uh, every 4 year, yeah, and they are watched internationally. And the next Olympics will be held in Beijing, China.
Yeah, very good. So that's the content and fluency that you want to work towards, okay? And again, this is for all the students out there. If you're not sure about your example, you can always say, if I'm not mistaken. It's a nice natural expression. So if I'm not mistaken, The next Olympics will be held in Beijing, China. Okay. So remember that. Anytime you hear something new in the class, just write it down, okay? All right. Thank you so much for volunteering, Arsalan. I know it's nerve-wracking to do this like this, but it's a great way to build your confidence too. So good job, okay? I give you a thumbs up.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for volunteering. Okay, everyone, give Arsalan an applause. That was awesome. He was our first volunteer today, and it's scary, right? Part 3. These are challenging questions. So, okay, let's take somebody else. Let's take Anirban is volunteering here. It's the first volunteer, so let's see if Anirban is there. So Anirban, are you ready? Okay. So Anirban says, sure, I'd love to. Okay, great. So here we go. Hi, Anirban.
Hi, Adrian. Am I audible?
You are audible. Yes, absolutely. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Anirban, can you remind me, where are you in this big, beautiful world?
So I'm currently in the city of Kolkata in India.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Are you originally from Kolkata?
Yes, I've been born and brought up here only.
Okay, born and raised in Kolkata. All right. Do you like your city?
Absolutely, I love it. This was the heart of British Raj, so it has a lot of European architectures to look at, which I absolutely love.
That's fantastic. I'd love to visit there someday. All right, so I'm going to ask you a part 3 question. Give me a nice full sentence answer. Okay. So here we go. We're still talking about the same topic. Okay, so let's discuss world sports. Why is it important for nations to compete with each other in sports?
I think it is crucial for nations to take part in sports competitions, as it encourages friendship, solidarity, and fair play. Just like the Olympics, which is held every 4 years, that encourages the world to come together and build a world that is beyond discriminations, and there is no politics involved. In general, it's a good thing.
Okay. And I would ask you the next question. Very good. Now I was trying to keep up and type with you. I might interrupt you there at the very end. So that was a really good answer. Okay, that was really, really well put together. And I like how you used a previous concept of Olympics to kind of reflect on that. I think you would probably score like an 8, a strong 7.5 for sure. But I would say an 8, and if you keep going like this, you probably will get even higher, like an 8.5, because you're doing a lot. You're taking a lot of the right steps for these high scores. Let me put it to you this way: so your fluency is a band 8. The one part of your fluency that I would change just a little bit is finish earlier. So you already gave me a nice full sentence answer, and then at the end you started to kind of lose what you're saying because you were almost forcing more information into your response. But I think when you said, just like the Olympics that were held previously in Brazil, so, and then just stop there, right, where the world got together, or Japan, right, where the world got together to compete. So, and then stop. So stop a little bit earlier. Once you have the answer, just stop. And your lexical resource, I think, is 8.59. You're using some really nice paraphrasing. So you said crucial instead of important. You said to take part in. So you're using a phrasal verb for participate, take part in. You use some really nice, precise words like encourages friendship, solidarity, and fair play. Those are obviously words that, you get once you are in that higher level of English. And so you had the answer, explanation, example series. So that was very good. Your grammar was very accurate. Your pronunciation is a band 9. I can hear you have a bit of an accent, but it's very clear. Okay, I have no problem understanding you. I can tell you're very comfortable with English and you're using it all the time. So that was really good. Not much for me to correct here, honestly. So I think it is crucial for nations to take part in sports competitions as it encourages friendship, solidarity, and fair play. Just like the Olympics, which were held in Tokyo recently, gave a bit of positive energy to people around the world during the difficult last 2 years. Okay, and you don't even have to say pandemic because people know what you're talking about, last 2 years, right? So that would make sense. Let me say this one more time and then just repeat after me, okay? Mostly what you're focusing on here is just to kind of finish what you're saying, okay? Sounds good?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, all right. So why is it important for nations to compete with each other in sports? I think it is crucial for nations to take part in sports competitions as it encourages friendship, solidarity, and fair play. Just like the Olympics, which were held in Tokyo recently, gave a bit of positive energy to people around the world during these difficult past 2 years. Why is it important for nations to compete with each other in sports?
I think it is crucial for nations to take part in sports competitions as it encourages friendship, solidarity, and fair play. Just like the Olympics, which were held in Tokyo recently, gave a bit of positive energy to people around the world during these difficult times in last 2 years.
Wonderful. Okay, that would be a band 9. So no question. If you keep giving answers like that, you end up with a band 9. No question about it. Okay. All right, so great job. Keep it up. Keep practicing and focus on, once you finish your ideas and you finish the example, put a stop to it, wait for the next question, okay?
Okay, thank you. So actually, I was feeling like I need to fill in with more information, so that's why I was trying to put in more examples and everything.
No, you don't. So once you've given that answer, explanation, example, you're golden. You don't need to go overboard, okay? So the examiner wants to ask you the next question. Keep that in mind, okay?
All right, I will keep that in mind.
Okay, Anirban, keep it up. It was good talking with you.
Thanks. Bye.
Goodbye. All right, so give Anirban an applause for giving such a great answer and example. That was really good. Yeah, Bianca says, good job. All right, Mal says, yeah, sometimes I feel that way too. Yeah, don't go overboard, students. Answer, explain, example. As long as your answer is precise, you're good, okay? All right, let me reach out to somebody else here. Let's see if we can find a female voice. So I know Tatiana is probably there. Okay, Tatiana says anytime is suitable. Okay, Tatiana, are you ready? All right. Let's see. Of course. All right. Okay, Tatiana. So here we go. Let me just reach out to you.
Afternoon.
Hi, Tatiana.
Good morning for you.
I'm doing good, thanks. I'm glad you're hanging in there and you're always ready for volunteering. That's awesome.
Yes.
How's your weekend going so far?
It's a great opportunity. Magnificent.
I think you mentioned you're working, right, on the weekend? Or was that
no,
Cass?
It was not me.
Maybe it was Cass.
It was Cass. I'm studying. I'm following your streams.
Okay, that's great.
I especially freed my time for that.
Oh, lovely. All right. I'm honored. Thank you. Okay, so I will ask you a question. Still talking about world sports. Give me a nice full sentence answer, okay? Here we go. How has international sporting changed in the past several decades?
International sport events have greatly changed over the last few tens of years, as they have become widely broadcast and advertised. Viewers all around the world can watch sports events from their houses. Besides, they can travel and be the spectators. I doubt that it was possible some 30 or 40 years ago. People used to watch about sports events in the newspapers or magazines and were satisfied with just pictures or black and white images on their TV sets.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Let me reflect on that. Yeah, a bit more challenging, right? This question, because it demands that you're thinking at the same time that you're speaking English, and that's really the challenge of part 3, is not only having to use English, but also having to dedicate a lot of our thoughts to our answers. And in psychology, there's a lot of evidence to show that our attention is limited. So our brain has a lot of information, but we're not able to give our attention to too many different points at the same time. So if we're focusing our attention on the English, it becomes more challenging to focus our attention on ideas, right? So good communication also demands this practice of dividing our attention and combining these components, and that takes a lot of practice, and that's why part 3 is challenging. So you started well. I think your band level for that answer would be around a 7, maybe a 7.5. You have fairly good fluency. Your lexical resource is definitely up at that band 8.5 level. Your grammar in this case was closer to a 6.5, maybe 7. Your word choice, your lexical resource mark here, even though you've got good lexical resource, your word choice wasn't that great. Let me explain it. However, your grammatical range and accuracy was pretty good because you showed the present perfect. So for everybody out there, this question was present perfect. So how has international sporting changed in the past several decades? So you recognize that that was present perfect, Tatiana, and that was really good. So Tatiana said, okay, international sport events have greatly changed. Very good, reflecting that present perfect. And then you used it again, have become widely broadcast and advertised. Very nice. So you're showing me that, yeah, I get present perfect, I can use it. And then here you got into a little bit of trouble. You said over the last few tens of years. It's a bit awkward. A better way to say this is over the last 20 to 30 years. Okay, that would reflect several decades. So over the last 20 to 30 years, as they have become widely broadcast and advertised. And then here, again, it was a little bit awkward. Use something more specific. Spectators or fans. Fans can watch.
Supporters.
Fans would be even better than supporters. So fans can watch. Spectators is okay. Fans is even better. So fans can watch sports events from their houses. From their houses is okay. You would find most native English speakers using the word homes instead of houses in this case. So fans can watch sports events from the comfort of their homes.
Yeah, it's nice.
So via television or the internet. Okay, that's one of the biggest evolutions. So anytime that you're thinking about change, and this is for all of our viewers out there, in part 3, you do want to have some kind of tools that are ready for you to use when you get some of these questions, so that you don't have to use your attention for the ideas so much, and you can focus more of your attention on the English. And so there are some very useful kind of common ideas or tools, such as thinking about the internet. The internet is one of the biggest cultural, technological, evolutionary leaps for humanity over the past generation, the past 20, 30 years. So anytime you get a question that's asking you for change through time from past to present, the internet is one that you can kind of immediately reference and say, oh, well, nowadays sporting events have been widely broadcast over the internet. That simply wasn't possible 30 years ago, right? So that's kind of a little trick, if you will, Tatiana, is keep the internet in mind always, okay? And then you can focus more of your attention on that correct English. So I doubt that this was possible 30 or 40 years ago. And then here you said people used to watch.
People used to follow sports events, of course.
Yes, exactly. You caught that after, right? But it was a bit late. You can't correct though. So if you say people used to watch sports events from their newspapers, and you realize, okay, that's a bit weird. People don't watch newspaper. Right? That will be the future. Maybe we'll have digital newspapers.
It would be nice though.
Yeah. So if you catch that mistake, you can stop yourself. It's better to correct. So it's better to say something like, read about it, right? Or follow. So people used to watch sports events from their newspapers. I mean, you can even say correction. I mean, they used to follow. They used to follow their favorite teams from reading the newspaper, right?
I'm actually not into sport, and that is difficult to talk about such topics. I understand that it's better to read more about topics you are not into to be safe, to get your vocabulary.
Yes and no. I mean, it's always good to kind of span out and broaden your knowledge base. Absolutely. I think that's always a value in life. But you don't really have to, I mean, we only have so much time, and to try to read up on all topics is an extremely difficult task. Again, it's better to just kind of think about some ideas that you can adapt to just about any situation. Like think about these meta ideas like the internet has changed over time, or the advent of computers, of electric vehicles, the problems of pollution, overpopulation. So we have these kind of global phenomenon that really connect with all kinds of topics. Yeah, and as long as we have those floating around in our head, then we can resource those no matter what the topic is. And so Tatiana, when you get a topic that you're not so familiar with, don't think I'm not familiar with this, right? Instead think, okay, I'm good with this. I'm just going to resource some of these global topics.
Yeah, it's a way out. It's a great way out.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So let me read this question, this answer. Repeat after me. Here we go. So how has international sporting changed in the past several decades? International sport events have greatly changed over the past 20 to 30 years as they have become widely broadcast and advertised. Fans can watch sports events from the comfort of their homes via television or the internet. I doubt that this was possible 30 or 40 years ago. People used to watch sports events from their newspaper. Correction, I mean they used to follow their favorite sports from reading the newspaper or watch it on TV sets. Nowadays, I watch my favorite basketball team on my phone with the internet. Okay, so how has international sporting changed in the past several decades?
International sports events have greatly changed over the last 20 to 30 years, and they have become widely broadcast and advertised. Fans now can watch sports events from the comfort of their homes, via television or the internet. I doubt it was possible 30 or 40 years ago. People used to follow their favorite sports team from their newspapers or on TV sets. I often watch my favorite football team now via my smartphone.
Very nice. And that example is great because that really just goes, okay, I just finished it. I gave that example to show that change. And you can even throw in the present perfect. Like I have been following my favorite football team, watching it through the internet on my phone.
Ooh, wow. Right? So, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. All right, Tatiana, thank you so much. And a lot of valuable feedback, I think, for all of our viewers through that example.
Thank you very much to you too.
Okay, keep up the good studies. That was Tatiana, everybody. Please give Tatiana an applause. She did a very good job, and she's our first female volunteer for today. Let's see if we can find somebody else. All right. And I see some answers there in the chat from Simran as well and Gamerboy. Those are good answers, Simran. Okay, very nice. Wow, thank you for the claps. Okay. So let me see if I can find somebody else here. Okay, let's see, Ghazi here, if Ghazi's available. Okay, so Ghazi, yes, are you ready? Take a couple more volunteers for today. Okay, so hi Ghazi, are you ready? I believe Ghazi's volunteered before. I'll try to find a new volunteer next time. Just go through the list there. Okay. So Ghazi, if you're still here, let me know. I'll give you a couple more seconds to respond to my message. Oh, okay, there you are. Fantastic. Okay.
Hello, Adrian.
Hi Ghazi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Ghazi, do I remember correctly you're over in Newfoundland?
Yeah, I'm Newfoundland. I'm still in Newfoundland so far.
Still in Newfoundland, haven't moved away. Okay, yeah, I remembered that.
I will move to BC.
Oh, okay. So you're coming into my part of the...
in your province, yeah.
It's a big move. A lot of people...
big move. Yeah,
because it's still Canada, right? But it's kind of like moving from Asia to Europe, if you will. So it's a big move. Why are you... maybe I think a lot of our viewers might be interested about this, but why are you deciding to move from Newfoundland, which is East Coast Canada, to British Columbia, which is West Coast Canada, where I am? Why are you, if you don't mind sharing, why are you planning this move?
Yeah, so that is depend on my job. I told you I'm a nurse, so I try do equivalency here in Newfoundland. But I find the process quite slowly here in Newfoundland. Could in BC is faster than here. So because every province has different policy here in Canada.
That's right. Yeah. So we have 3 levels of government in Canada. This is for all of...
There is more opportunities, I think, in BC than here.
Yeah, quite possibly, because you're working in nursing, and British Columbia has become very popular for retirement. So a lot of elderly people from all parts of Canada and other parts of US and the world are moving to British Columbia. The weather's good, the nature's nice, there's a lot of support. It's expensive, but so I agree with you. And Canada has 3 levels of government: the national, the provincial, and the municipal, right? So a lot of healthcare, the healthcare is often decided at the provincial level in Canada, not at the national level. So
I came here recently, so I will wait sometime. So
it's good to be patient, and because of COVID, a lot of these administrative processes are still quite slow these days. So and I think that's good information for some of our viewers, because a lot of our viewers are planning to come to Canada, and Canada's a big country, so it's important to know where you want to be in Canada. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a part 3 question. Just give me a nice full sentence answer. So let's talk about athletes. Who are the most popular athletes in a country?
The most famous athletes in my country, Canada, are Terry Fox. Terry Fox was inspired, and so far he's inspired millions of Canadian people to raise money for children cancer. And another athlete is Diamond Waters, he's got thousands of points in Tokyo Olympic in 2021. He's also from Canada.
Okay, good. All right, that would be about a band 6 to 6.5. If you say the same information about 20% faster, you'll get a 6.5 to 7. So you've got really good ideas. You've got good language. You need to be more fluent. So that needs to come from practice. So you just have to practice and say it. And then if you're faster, you get higher. Also focus on explanations. So I would say something like, so it's kind of like you almost started with the example instead of the answer. So I would start with the answer. So the most famous athletes in a nation are those who inspire people and are very talented and hardworking. The most famous athletes or sportsmen, we can say, to paraphrase, in my country, Canada, are Terry Fox. Terry Fox was a runner, right? You forgot to say that he's a runner.
Yeah.
Terry Fox was a runner, so clarity is important, who inspired and so far has inspired millions of Canadian people to raise money for children's cancer. Don't forget to show belonging, children's cancer. And another athlete is Damon Walters, who got gold medals in the previous Olympics. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're on to a much better score. And, you said that you moved here. Sorry, which country did you move here from? I can't remember. You mentioned it before.
Syria.
Syria.
From Syria, yeah.
Yeah, so you came from Syria, but you chose to talk about athletes in Canada, and that's totally okay. So if it's in your country and you say, well, my country now is Canada, right? And so you want to talk about athletes in Canada, that's totally okay. They're not going to be like, well, no, I was thinking like, in Syria.
Yeah, if I know the famous athlete in Syria, but if I mention to them, could the examiner, he doesn't know about them. So that's why
and that's smart.
So.
And Ghazi, that's smart because
I will be more comfortable if I talk about my own country. So, but
yes. However, you're right. For communication, it's often better to choose ideas that everybody is familiar with. Like if you're talking about restaurants.
That's the reason.
If you're talking about restaurants, McDonald's, everybody knows McDonald's, even though it's a fast food restaurant. So using it as an example is very clear. It's very coherent because people know what it is, right? So I think that was great. I think it's great that you did that. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I choose to talk about Canadian athletes. Yeah, that's the reason.
I think it was smart, and I think that was good strategy. So I'm going to read this question, this response, and then just copy after me. Okay. So, who are the most popular athletes in a country? The most famous athletes in a nation are those who inspire people and are very talented and hardworking. The most famous sportsman in my country, Canada, is Terry Fox. Terry Fox was a runner who inspired, and so far he has inspired millions of Canadian people to raise money for children's cancer. Another athlete is Damon Walters, who got gold medals in the previous Olympics. Who are the most popular athletes in a country?
The most famous athletes in a nation are those are inspire people and very talented and hardworking. The most famous sportsman in my country, Canada, is Terry Fox. Terry Fox was a runner who inspired and so far has inspired millions of Canadian people to raise money for children's cancer. And another athlete is Diamond Walter, who got gold medals in the previous Olympic.
Okay, good. So you're doing good, Ghazi. Keep up the
Yeah.
practice. Practice lots to pick up the speed, right? And
Yeah, the speed, that's my problem. So I
it's not a
choose
problem,
to,
Ghazi.
yeah,
It's just a
yeah,
challenge. It's just a challenge, and you're going to overcome it. And that, another small but important tip is make sure you're pronouncing your S's. Okay, so
yeah,
children's cancer,
Children's, yeah.
Olympics. Okay, so we
Yeah.
need to hear those S's. For the English ear, those S's are important. So make sure you put the S sound on the end. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Ghazi, keep it up. Keep up the
Yeah,
practice. You'll
sounds
get
good.
there, and hopefully you'll make it here to BC.
Yeah. Next time.
All right. Okay,
Yeah,
Ghazi.
you will hear C. A lot of C.
Have a great weekend, Ghazi. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you,
volunteering.
Adrian. I appreciate that, and have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was Ghazi. Everybody give Ghazi an applause. That was really good. Yeah, and I can see in the chat, like, people are like, oh, should we just talk about any country's athletes? You almost can. I mean, if you've made it really clear what country you live in or where you're from, I probably wouldn't choose a country that's not one of those two countries. That could be a little bit confusing to the examiner. But, you know, if you say, well, I spent a few years in Brazil and the most famous athletes in my country when I was there is, or are. So you can, okay? All right. Let me reach out to one more person here. Okay. Let's see if Mi is on the line. Mi is one of our longtime members. So, and we like to respect that members are spending their time and money with us regularly. So let's see if Mi is here. Okay. Are you ready? All right. So hopefully Mi can connect. All right. Maybe Mi still. Oh, Mi says, okay, yes, absolutely. Okay, let me reach out to Mi here. Here we go. Hi, Mi.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty excited because
Yep.
It's about Lunar New Year soon.
All right. Yes, of course. Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year. That's a synonym, of course, is coming fairly soon. What is the exact date? Because it's for in the Gregorian calendar, it's always changing. But what is the date?
Yeah, the first day of February.
So it's February 1st, the
Yes.
Lunar New Year? Okay.
Yes.
All right, that's exciting. Yeah, it's actually quite a big celebration here in my hometown as well, because both Vancouver and Victoria have a big Chinese population, a big Asian population. We have Chinatown in Victoria and we have Chinatown in Vancouver. And so there are big festivals that happen here during what we call Chinese New Year's, dragon dance and dragon boat races and all kinds of interesting and exciting events. So people are getting ready here as well. Okay, Mi, so I'm going to ask you a part 3 question and then give me a nice full sentence response. You know how it goes. I know you've volunteered before. So are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Do famous athletes deserve the large sums of money that is paid to them? And can you explain your answer?
Yes, of course, because they have invested their money, time, and even their health to pursue their dream, and if they're success, not only they are successful, but also they bring the pride for the nation. Just like Cristiano Ronaldo, he is one of the most famous football player in the entire world. He has a really high salary. Not everyone knows that, and I'm pretty sure that he has tried a lot to have the success like right now.
Okay. Very good. Very nice. All right. I think that would be a solid band 7. And if you keep going that way, 7.5. Mi, you have nice fluency. Your fluency is like 7.58. Your coherence is about a 7. Your pronunciation is about a 6. So I can understand mostly what you're saying, but you do have some awkward features in your intonation. You have that kind of classic kind of off Asian intonation of the English language where your ups and downs are a little bit kind of jumpy. So you want to, I think, speak even a little bit slower, about 5-10%, and focus more on the way that you're intonating, so your rhythm of your speech. Try to really copy the native English style. So when you're watching a movie or listening to a podcast, really just kind of la 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 da 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 da, you know, just copy that way of speaking. And when you start to feel like it's really awkward, when you're like, yeah, but this feels so weird, that's actually good. Okay, so when it feels weird, that's good. If I were learning Chinese, right, Mandarin or Cantonese, and I felt weird about my pronunciation, like ni hao, right, then it's probably like, okay, I'm kind of getting closer to what, you know, I might need to sound like. So so do that, and don't be shy about it, right? And don't be embarrassed about your pronunciation. Always be confident, okay?
Okay.
All right. Your thoughts are really good. So your structure is good. I asked you, you know, do they deserve these large sums of money? You said yes, of course, because they have invested their money, time, and even their health. And I really liked that addition that you said, even their health, to pursue their dreams. Very nice expression, pursue their dreams. Okay, so you obviously have really studied hard and learned a lot of good English vocabulary, phrases, and so on. Here you got a little bit kind of, it was a bit confusing, and you said, and if they are successful, or even if they're successful, they not only gain successful for themselves, but also pride for their country. And then you gave the example of Ronaldo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was good. Large sums of money. How much money?
I don't know.
Take a guess.
Maybe $50 million, maybe.
Sure. Yeah. Be confident. Okay. So as long as you're somewhere close to reality, the IELTS examiner is not going to question you, but using numbers can definitely help to clarify your language and to make your language more coherent. And when your pronunciation is causing some slight barriers in clarity or coherence, then you must rely on other tools that can help to create clarity. Okay, so one of those tools is quantifying your explanations in your examples. So Ronaldo, who is a world famous footballer, earns like $50 million a year. Dollars a year, but he has invested thousands of hours to master the sport and has brought fame to the teams and countries that he has represented, like Spain, right? Okay, so you want to be specific and you want to quantify, and then that will add clarity. Okay, let me clean this up a little bit, and then I'll say it and then repeat after me. So yes, of course, because they have invested their money, time, and even their health to pursue their dreams. Okay, and then let's clean up this part here all together, make it a little bit shorter. They not only gain success for themselves, but pride for their country. Ronaldo, who's a well, okay, that looks good. So let's go from here. Okay, I'm going to say this and then repeat after me. So, do famous athletes deserve the large sums of money that is paid to them? Yes, of course, because they have invested their money, time, and even their health to pursue their dreams. They not only gain success for themselves, but also pride for their country. Ronaldo, who is a world famous footballer, earns like $50 million a year, but he has invested thousands of hours to master the sport and has brought fame to the teams and countries that he has represented, like Spain. So he deserves it. Do famous athletes deserve the large sums of money that is paid to them?
Yes, of course, because they have invested their money, time, and even their house to pursue their dreams. They not only gain success for themselves but also pride for their country. Ronaldo, who is a famous footballer, earns like $50 million a year, but he has invested thousands of hours to master the sport and has brought fame to the teams and countries that he has represented like Spain, and he definitely deserves it.
Very nice. And your intonation was much better there, me. So and you can go even a little bit slower and even focus more on that intonation. So it's not so much your pronunciation, it's not the way you're forming the words, but it's more the intonation and the rhythm that you want to focus on. Okay?
Okay.
All right, keep it up, me, because you're doing good. Just keep copying that native, natural rhythm and intonation. Okay?
All right, thank you, sir.
You're-
That's advice.
You're very, very welcome. Great job. Okay, everyone. So that was me. Please give me an applause for volunteering. Me did a great job. That was really good. And she's getting really confident because she's following the classes regularly and volunteering regularly. Okay, everyone. So I've run out of time for this class, but worry not. We've got tons of speaking classes coming up next week. We will have a short break for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then I will be back. Again, remember, everyone, you can sign up for our premium IELTS course at aehelp.com for academic IELTS, and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS, and you can use this discount code IScore9. That's it's the last day, so if you don't use it today, it's gone. We're not going to have a discount for a little bit, so if you have an IELTS coming up, better to start learning now than later. Again, visit our websites. You've seen the websites, aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com. That's it for me for today, but I look forward to coming back on Wednesday and continuing helping all of you master the English language and communication so that you can be successful in life. Keep up the good studies, everyone. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. Much love to all of you. Bye for now.